Hello. Have you ever wondered how you're going to address access to financial reports wherein certain users are just restricted to child dimensions? So, as what you can see on the screen at the moment, I have this department which I renamed as Business Unit 800 and 900, and for each parent department, I have two child um, departments. So if a certain user, just like this one, has a restriction on business unit that the user can only access eight business units, 810 and 908, which are basically child departments. So when you create a financial report, the financial report, um, if you're going to have a dimension group that you would like to restrict or filter it based on business unit, this user will only be able to access the if you filtered the dimension group, business unit or department by parent, which is either 800 or 900 in this case, that will error out for the for this user. Is all because this user is not permitted to access that parent department, either 800 or 900. So you are being forced to include the parent as well in the restriction. But the problem with that one is that if you include 800 and 900 in here, the user will be able to access all the child departments under 800 and 900, not just 810 and 908 in this case. All right, so what you can do with that one is that you can create a custom field on the department, wherein you can name it as custom parent. So the whole idea of this one here is that looking at the custom field, so this is deployed for the object business unit or department, and you can define it might be just a text or so, and you can label it, for example, custom parent in here. All right, and you can create a smart event. That smart event will essentially, while it's being applied to business unit, that will copy or an add and edit of that business unit basically. But what it will do is just it tries to copy the standard parent um, department ID to your custom parent field, which is a custom field defined on the item. So looking at the structure again here, so this is the standard parent that you have, and if you click on edit this one here, so this is the parent, right? So if you're going to use this on a dimension group filter, but that particular user is restricted to just the child dimension, child business unit, then it will error out. So instead of using this as a filter, we can make use of the custom parent as a filter, but it needs to filter on the dimension group and dimension structure. What it will do though with the smart event there is that on save, on create or edit, then copy the parent ID into this field and use this field, as I mentioned earlier, as a filter in the dimension group. that will eventually be propagated to dimension structure when the dimension structure is created from the dimension group. All right. So that's those are what you can do in order to address that. And when you create, yeah, just looking at the business unit structure in here. So this is based on the business unit group. If you look at the business unit group, which um, which has been the source of the dimension structure of this dimension structure, and you will see in here that the filter is based on custom parent equals to 800, which is actually looking the at this one, at custom parent, not the standard parent in there. And yep, because making use of the parent here, as I said, is quite. So I will just throw an error when a user is running that report, wherein that user is only restricted to the child record. All right, so let's close this business unit structure and this business unit group. Okay, so looking at the financial report in here, you will see that I've added this one, economic policy. So this is again based on the dimension structure that we saw earlier. Dimension structure based on dimension group, wherein the custom parent field is used as a filter. All right, and this economic policy is actually looking at the um, yep. So economic policy in here. Let me just have a look again. If I go to reports in here, we have business units. So economic policy here again is actually looking at 800, right? So it's custom period 800. And if you look at the business unit structure, business unit in here, so 800 should show 805 and 810, right? And for the other one, we have yep, indigenous tree in here. That would also include um, custom parent 900. We should show these two values there. All right. So if I run this report under my access, which I don't have any restriction, if I click on preview here, okay, so let's have a look at these sections down below, especially this economic three, economic policy 3 and indigenous policy 3. So I have these two values under economic policy 3 and two values for an indigenous policy 3. All right, so I can see both values for each parent. It's all because I don't have any restriction. However, this user itself has should only be seeing one value under 800 and one value under 900. So I have that user logged in through this. And if we run that report, and I'll just ignore that one. And let's have a look at what the user can see. So economic policy 3, tax consultancies. So if we look at the structure again, tax consultancies 810. If you look at the user, that's 810. That's the restriction, right? And the other one is under indigenous policy. We have native title in there. So if you look at native title is actually child record 908. And that's what you can see under user information. The restriction also showing is also showing 908 there. So you can only see one child record for each parent because that has been defined in the um, restriction of that user. So instead of, so that actually works, which means that making use of the custom parent field is being populated by smart events and using that custom parent field as a filter in the dimension group and dimension structure will actually achieve the result because as I said earlier, if you have a restriction, this one here, if you only have a restriction for 810 and 908, and if the dimension structure is actually looking or filtering it based on the standard parent field, then it will error out because you have to provide the user access to the parent. But then again, if you have that standard parent field defined here as a restriction, it also allows the user to access not just 810 or 908, but everything under the standard parent defined under restriction. So hope this recording helps and best to test this as well, just to make sure that it's addressing the requirement of your customer. Thank you.